ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Newcastle have followed up an impressive win at Bournemouth with a rather disappointing draw at home to West Ham in the end. And we want to know your reaction to it. Welcome to the live fan reaction show. I am your host, Sam Mulliner. And to my north, I am joined by Mr. Paul Rutter. Paul, how are we?
Aye, not bad, not bad. I enjoyed certain aspects of that game. I'm sure we're going to get into it shortly, but yeah, it was certainly had its talking points. But yeah, looking forward to the show today.
Yeah, it certainly did have its talking points, and we'll come on to that at the moment. Before we get people in, I can see Callum waiting, I can see Rowan waiting, Jake waiting, and PD Proudlock also. If you do want to get involved with us on screen tonight, just click the link in the description and also in the live chat. Paul, this is our 5th live fan reaction show. This is the 3rd one I've hosted, and all 3 are the games where we've not won. I'm starting to think I am cursed. What went wrong today?
Goodness me. We just got really, really, I think, sloppy, and we looked a little bit lethargic at times. I think we started a little bit poor. At first, I was a bit worried because I thought that the lifting of the lockdowns and stuff on all the bars and Newcastle playing like they were intoxicated was probably not a coincidence. We started off very, very gingerly at the back. Fullbacks we were getting torn a new one. Was it Antonio for them? I think, well, anyway, we were getting literally destroyed down the sides. Then we came into it and we looked quite decent for a good chunk of the middle part of that first half. And then again, the last 10, 15 minutes, I thought we lacked energy and we lacked a few ideas, and it sort of literally drained towards half time. And then again, second half, we never really got going, did we? But oh, goodness me. I'm sure Bruce will be over the moon with the point. It does us plenty of favours. It probably sees them okay as well with the fixtures that they've got coming up. So it probably suits both parties. And certainly, I think when it got to 70 minutes, I was pretty sure that both sides were actually pretty okay with the draw. There was no desperation to go and find that winner. And there was lots of like passing it around at the back and, you know, I'll pass to you, you pass to me, I'll pass to you. And, you know, you could have put decent money on it, finishing out and just petering out. But, yeah, disappointing, mate, disappointing. I think it's an opportunity lost in lots of ways. But if you're behind twice in a game and then you get a point, you know what I mean? It's, I suppose, not to be sniffed at in our position in the league.
And with that, shall we get our first guest on?
Why not, eh? Why not?
Right then, let's bring on Rowan to the live fan reaction show. Good afternoon, Rowan.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Rowan.
What did you make of that? First of all, did Bruce get the starting 11 right today?
I don't think so. I thought Lazaro had to start for me, especially. I mean, like, what does he have to do to get a start? Really, I mean, he was unlucky not to get 2 goals off the bench, and then I understand why he doesn't change. But then I thought Bentaleb was unlucky to get dropped, especially I thought he was excellent in the Bournemouth game. And then obviously Hayden's got injured, and hopefully that's not serious, because if that is, then that's going to be a very bad issue for our team going forward.
Yeah, let's talk about the first goal, because we conceded really early. A real poor piece of defending by Lascelles. Should he have been on the pitch today, Rowan, considering that we were told he picked up a knock at Bournemouth?
Yeah, it's like Bruce complains about the schedules and proceeds to not manage his players, and I can understand, but I can understand why he plays it. I mean, your captain has to play, really, even if he's 80-90%. And I guess it's kind of put his he doesn't have faith in Cher because Cher's looked quite shaky whenever he's played recently, especially in that Man City game. I don't know if he trusts Cher to back up. He probably trusts Clark, Dummett, and Lejeune more, but they're all out injured or can't play because Dummett's not in the squad.
Paul, do you think that Cher's poor performance against Manchester City last week, do you think that maybe had an influence on Steve Bruce as to why he kind of went with a half-fit Lascelles as opposed to a fully fit Cher?
I think it has, and I think it also, if you look into where Cher's been playing recently, he hasn't played him at the back. He's played him in a sort of CDM role, midfield position, which he does do for his international side occasionally. But yeah, I mean, it looks on the face of it like Bruce has a bit of an issue with, confidence with the lad at the moment. But I mean, his stock's fallen so sharply from, last summer being linked with the likes of Spurs to at the moment, he can't even get on when Lascelles isn't fully fit. I think you're totally right on what you said, Rowan. I think Paul Dummett may have come in today if he'd been, available, selection-wise. Clark definitely would have probably come back in. But I think he's literally been dealt a little bit of a difficult situation at the back, but no doubt about it today. We started off not in the right frame of mind, but you could say that about the entire defence, to be fair, for the first sort of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is it because, in general, that some may have needed a rest? I mean, Lascelles and Fernandez have played, I think, every minute since we've restarted, and pretty much, bar I think he went off the other week, as Manquillo. Rowan, do you think Manquillo should have maybe been taken out today and Rose brought back in, or maybe Yedlin? Yedlin hasn't really had a look in, so questions twofold. One, should Manquillo have been rested? And two, do you think Yedlin's on the way out of Newcastle?
Yeah, I was surprised that Rose didn't come back in. I understand that he rested him for Bournemouth, which is smart from Bruce, really, because obviously he's had trouble fitness-wise. But then I was surprised not to see him back in because he's the only natural left-back we have. And then he plays Manquillo, who, I mean, he does a job there for us, really. And it shows why we've given him a 4-year contract, because he can play either fullback very well. And on the second point, I think, especially, I think Kraft, and obviously he got the assist for the first goal. And I thought in the Bournemouth game he was really good. And I thought today, barring the first shaky few minutes for our entire defence, I thought it was quite good, to be honest. And I think Yedlin's going to be out the door, to be honest.
Paul, has Emil Kraft changed your opinion of him in the past 2 games?
Well, I was surprised. He's been nowhere, then all of a sudden he plays 2 games in the space of a few days. Again, I thought, during the first 10, 15 minutes, I thought he was getting caused a few problems by the West Ham very, very attacking lineup, can I just add. And I was a little bit concerned at first. But, the re-emergence of Kraft through at right back, and obviously Manquillo still playing at left back and stuff, you've got to think that the days for DeAndre Yedlin are severely, severely numbered. He hasn't been bad. I still don't think he's the world's best. I think he's a reasonable filler at best, and obviously he can do a job at centre back as well. Which, again, during the second half, I kept thinking, is he going to switch it? Is he going to play him at centre back and try and give Lascelles and Fernandez a little bit of a breather? Because there's no doubt about it, they're carrying knocks and strains and this, that, and the other. But he didn't. He kept him out there at right back, and again, he done all right. But my concern would be that when we play somebody of a little bit more quality, further up the league, shall we say? But again, did himself no harm at all today. With an average okay performance.
Yeah, I thought Bowen showed.
That's very political answer from you there, Paul. Very political. But Rowan, one last thing for you before you go. Obviously, we've got the rematch against Manchester City. How much are we going to win by on Wednesday night? We're unbeaten in 6 league games. How much are we going to beat Man City by?
Double digits, but I won't say which way.
I can feel the confidence oozing. But yeah, I think I catch your drift there. Rowan, thanks again for coming on, and we shall see you next week on the Fan Reaction Show. Paul, is it going to be double digits on Wednesday?
Well,
or, have we got? Are we in with the shout?
Well, I famously said about parking your bus, getting your prayer mats out and stuff like that. They were fantastic last time out when I was watching them against Liverpool. They've got an abundance of absolute riches. They've got filth all over the pitch, haven't they? That can hurt you in so many ways. But they've got nothing really to play for apart from the cup. Thanks. That still hurts a little bit. And obviously the European Cup. So, will he try and blood in a few youngsters? Will he try a few different things? Possibly. And it would be typical Newcastle to go there and grab a point after we'd struggled in the previous game against a team, down towards the bottom. We're just so inconsistent. You don't know what Newcastle's going to turn up. But obviously they have to be heavy favourites for this game coming up. But we're capable of getting something if the right team shows up and we park the bus in a very, very effective way. I just hope Bruce doesn't change the formation and start messing around with his three at the back and try to be Rafa light again and try to incorporate Rafa's tactics, because this formation is getting the best out of them under his management at the moment. So go for it. Be brave, be bold, go with a game plan, and hopefully we can try and get something.
Absolutely. I see our subscribers, Brandon and Jay in Atlanta, in the comments. Hopefully we can get you lads on later. Click the link in the description. I recall Jay in Atlanta saying that, Paul, you're his favourite NFTV member. So, Jay, this is your chance to share the screen with Paul's only on with us till about 1:45. Then I'm joined in the second half by Owen, with a little gap in between for the clap for the NHS at 5 p.m. Let's get another guest on now, and he's been waiting since the very beginning. So let's bring on Callum. Callum, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Callum.
What did you make of the game today?
I haven't seen the game really. I listened to the radio, unfortunately.
What kind of vibe did you get from the radio? Do you think it was a point gained or 2 points dropped?
Well, I'm happy with a point, really, because actually it's my close stepdad's team, West Ham. But, it's a good game, I thought.
Yeah, it was a decent game, wasn't it, Paul? Considering we were a bit of a boring side at the start of the season, all of a sudden, since this restart, we've had a 3-0, a 4-1, and a 2-2. So we're getting more entertaining, aren't we?
We've certainly been decent value, and I would also say as well, it's nice to see Newcastle fighting back, because previously, when we've gone behind, you're always worried with the lack of goals. But we always seem to manage to find a way. I think that's 17 different goal scorers we've had this season, which is the most in the entire league. So, yeah, we always seem to find to get a goal, come back into it. We've got a bit of a never say die attitude, and they don't know when they're sort of done. So that is, commendable, and is down obviously to the coaches and the managers who've done a decent job. And obviously during the game, obviously you won't have heard it listening to local radio, but obviously Sky were banging on about the fact that going past Rafa's points total and this, that and the other. But Bruce has done a decent job in making us a little bit more pleasing on the eye since he changed formation, which is why I'm championing the fact that he should still do that when it comes to more difficult opponents like Manchester City, because he made a rod for his own back, dropping back to Rafa light tactics against Manchester City in the Cup.
Yeah, for sure. Callum, what do you think of Joe Linton?
He's not bad, he's not worth the money. Actually, he's not worth 40 million. I know he's good with 11. Everyone says I totally agree, but I know he's got a couple of goals. He's got about 2 now, right?
Yeah. Would you be starting Joe Linton against Man City on Wednesday, or would you be going for Carroll, Gale, or even Muto, who's the forgotten man?
Probably Joe Linton, but Dwight Gale and put Andy Carroll again, and probably second half again, maybe upon on the bench.
Brilliant. Well, Callum, I'll get a quick prediction off you for Wednesday night against Manchester City. What do you think the score will be? How are we going to get on?
I know this is going to be a tough match, but I'm going to say 2-0 loss.
That's a fair enough, respectable score, same as last time. Yeah. Callum, thanks for coming on with us, and we'll see you again next time. Paul, we played all right after we conceded. I thought we reacted quite well after we went 1-0 down, and we started to play some nice stuff. How pleased were you with the reaction you saw from the team?
I think that's been a real positive, to be fair. Previously, if we'd have gone one behind, you'd have been like moaning and groaning and this, that, and the other. But this team, it doesn't give up, doesn't know when it's done. And we just seem to up it, and the mentality seems to be absolutely spot on. He seems to have got them all working collectively, as a great, as a great unit. And twice to come back, show some balls at the end of the day. It really, really does. I'm just a bit disappointed. Maybe the last 10 minutes we didn't go for the winner. When Carroll come on, the pace of the game just literally fell away. But pleased that we're no longer just getting pushed over like we were earlier in the season.
You'll be pleased to know, Paul, that Jay in Atlanta is waiting to come on. So that gives you something to look forward to. I promise you I will get him on before you go at 1:45. But for now, let's bring in Jake, who's slacking today. Normally he's the first one waiting to come on, but he's third. Jake, are we wearing the same top? I think we are.
Yeah.
What did you make of that performance today?
Not good enough.
No? Is the West Ham team that got put out by David Moyes today, is that a team that we should be beating?
Yeah, we should have. With the team that we put out, but we should have made some changes.
Who would you have brought in?
Lazaro should have started. Gale should have played. I don't know if Lascelles should have been put out. Kraft definitely should have played.
Well, Kraft got an assist. He's Paul's new favourite player.
Yeah.
It was a lovely cross for Almiron's goal, though, wasn't it, Paul? Almiron 8 goals for the season now, and Miggy's starting to come good, which I know he's someone that you've always stuck by, Paul.
He is. I said it all along when people were criticising at the beginning of the season and when he first came about his lack of goals. I said it will come. It's just about the positioning and transitioning him into the new team, finding that role for him. I keep going back to the Copa America. If you can watch the highlights that he played in that competition, playing as a number 10, playing a little bit free occasionally, he was absolutely fantastic, to watch. And again, absolutely fantastic. A great cross by Kraft. There's no doubt about it. I was very surprised when it went in, and it seems to be all these players who I'm not rating are sort of coming back good. It'll be Christian Atsu next. He'll probably score a hat-trick against Manchester City. Atsu hat-trick, Newcastle win 3-0 or something like that. It's just crackers in it. But, another one of the players that I slated didn't have such a fantastic game today, did he, up top?
No, he didn't. Jake, who would you have started up top today? I don't think Gale had his best game, despite him getting a bit of an assist for Shelby's equaliser. Who would you have gone for? Would you like to see Carroll start?
He didn't play his best game. When Carroll was on, he didn't do much, but he's better than Joe Linton up front.
Yeah, I thought Joe Linton was particularly poor today. Normally, I try to kind of look for the positives with Joe, and I've got to be honest, I couldn't find many. Let's talk about Lascelles. I want to get your opinion on Lascelles, Jake. Shocking defending for the first goal, and he's lost his man for the second too. Should Cher have played? I know he's got a horrendous lockdown haircut, but should he have been in the starting 11 today?
I'm not. I heard Lascelles was a doubt for the game, but I don't know if Kieran Clark was on the bench. But if he wasn't on the bench, I would start Shaw. But if Kieran Clark's fit, I'd play him.
Yeah, Kieran Clark's had a good season, which got halted at Arsenal when he went off injured. Jake, final one for you, mate. Wednesday night or Wednesday evening, Manchester City away. It's not a game we historically do very well in, even before the mega rich. How do you think we're going to get on?
20-0 win.
20-0 win? Just the 20?
Maybe 40.
Who's going to score?
Gale's
maybe 40. Who's going to score? I'm expecting Joe Linton for...
Christian Atsu.
Yeah, good.
I
look forward to that because Christian Atsu. Well, if Christian Atsu does score, if he does score a hat trick ever again in his life, Paul, I'm talking about Atsu. What would you do? Would it be another case of running around the stadium in your wearing very little?
I'll show my ass on the steps of the Leazer's reception if that ever happens. There's no chance that that's going to happen. We know that. It's an absolute given. He will never, ever, ever. You can record this and play it back. He will never, ever, ever score a hat trick, Christian Atsu, at all, ever. He's not a footballer.
If that's not a reason to keep him out of the team, nothing else is. Jake, thank you very much for coming on, mate. We'll see you again, no doubt, next time. That was Jake. Now, Paul, this is a big moment for you now because I know you're going to be leaving us in 7 minutes. I believe you owe him a check.
I do, yes.
Jay in Atlanta. Good.
Hey,
well, I suppose it's good morning where you are.
It is indeed good morning here. And after the 4th over here, it is just coffee this morning. We'll take it easy. So,
yes, independence. So Paul, you owe Jay quite a substantial amount of money for Jay claiming that you're his favourite NFTV member. I'm fine about that, by the way. I'm not offended at all. It's fine. It's fine. Jay, let's talk about the second half performance. Newcastle fall behind again through Souček after Rice hit the crossbar, and it's another goal conceded from a set piece. This has been a running theme throughout the season now. When is it going to change? You would have thought Bruce would be working on set pieces on the training ground.
You'd think so. I think that the second goal off the crossbar, I mean, he got a good head on the ball. It was a good corner. I think Kraft did okay on it, but he let him in there and a good strike. And if it had gone over, job done, no big deal, no harm done. But it hit the crossbar with enough velocity. It just came back and just unfortunate. That's what the crossbar does. Sometimes it hurts you and sometimes it kills you. I wasn't nearly as upset about the second goal as the first. We've hashed that out pretty well, so we don't have to do that again. But the backline choices are tough. I think we're seeing the choices we see because everybody's tired. And that's going to be natural playing 2 matches a week. I would say this. It will get better when Manquillo is on the right and doing his average job, and Danny Rose is on the left and doing a good job. You know, Sam, I'd like to hear what you had to say about Rose. A couple times you've laid into him a little bit, and I didn't like him originally, really at all. But I thought he's done the business for us a few times with a few mistakes. So I think it'll get better when Rose is on the left and Manquillo is on the right, and they're not losing their minds. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was surprised to see Rose not starting today, I have to be honest. I agree with what you're saying. I think our strongest wing-backs are Rose on the left and Manquillo on the right. And I like when ASM works with Manquillo on the right. No coincidence we started playing better when Joe Linton and ASM switched today, and then we got the equaliser. And also, Manquillo was on the left against Bournemouth when ASM got the hat-trick of assists that he got. So I do think there's something in that blossoming little partnership. But Rose is a player that's got better the more he's played. We thought he came back a bit plump, but he's done fine. So I would be amazed if he was out of the team again. But and I think Yedlin's out the door, and Krath, I think that was just to kind of pat on the back for a kind of half decent performance in the week. Paul, do you agree? What do you make of Danny Rose?
I have been critical, as you know. After out the two left backs that we had, I've preferred Jeffrey Williams. I think he offers more physicality. I think he offers you more punch as well going forward. Yeah. And I would not personally, if I was going to face either one of them two, it would not want to be Jethro Williams, in my opinion. But to be fair to Danny Rose, he's come out today. Obviously, he was on the front of the program. He said that he wants to say that he's saying that he's fighting for his future. He's been linked to Lazio in the in the press and stuff like that. He's obviously not got a future at Tottenham. So if he wants it, there's no doubt. I think if Bruce stays, he would like him to stay. But he's got to show for these next few games, because I have been critical at certain matches when I've seen him stop and tracking back, and that infuriates me when it looks like a little bit of laziness and tardiness at times defensively. But he's got a perfect opportunity if he likes it. He says that he's being made to feel very welcome. He likes the staff. He likes the setup. He likes everything. Well, that's great. Talk is cheap. Now do it on the pitch a little bit more. It shows what they're capable of. Shows that you can get back to the England international version, and that Jose Mourinho and Spurs are wrong. But if you're offering me one of them two players I've mentioned, it still would be Jeffrey Williams. I would want him to come back. That's my personal choice, because I think he offers you more. And for the fees and money that's being quoted for the lad, I think it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. Jay, one proper question before I get your prediction for Man City on Wednesday. Is performances like today, like Villa last week, is that the difference between a team that's really pushing for a place in Europe next season and a team that's just, its season's finished now, it's petering out, and we're just destined to finish at the top of the bottom half?
I think that is a good way to look at the character of the team, the kind of people that want to get stuck in when there's, lots of the fans talk about, we could finish 10th or whatever. And I mean, that's great. There's a little more money in it. But when your players on the field just want to win for the purpose of winning, that's what you're looking for. If I were a coach or picking a team, those are the kind of players that I would be picking. So I think that does show the difference, like this and last week. It shows the difference in the caliber of character in the player beyond just their skill. And I hope that the staff under Bruce is evaluating our players on that level as well, too. I guess that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, nice. So final one from you then before I lose the pair of you, unfortunately. Wednesday night, Manchester City, how bad is it going to be?
I might go 20-0 the other way. I would send out the under 18 if we could, right? I would rest everyone quickly, because here in the States, our schedules get completely screwed up and we start playing 2 games a week for long times. And the cost is nobody is consistently playing well, right? And that's what happens to the team when you play 6 weeks, double games. And I'm afraid of that. So I want to see a rest My prediction is, like, legitimately, I think we'll rest a ton of people, and it could be, I don't know, if we get out with only a 3-goal difference, I'd consider that pretty reasonable, honestly. What do you think, Paul? Did you make a prediction, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we can get out of that, only losing by a couple of goals to nil, then I think in the big scheme of things we've done really, really well. But I think Bruce he'll rotate it, no doubt about it, and then target other games for a point to try and have a decent, strong, end of the season. But I can't see us finishing any higher than where we are at the moment, between 12th and 10th, and that's it. I said it before. When we've had victories, I just don't see us making that push for Europe that everybody's, yearning for. And to be honest, under the Ashley regime, can you imagine a European campaign?
Oh,
goodness me, we talk about congestion now. Next season, Europe and everything. Nah, we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. I'm desperate to get European nights back, but I'm more desperate to get this change of ownership and get the stench of Ashley, done. Get away, get rid.
Shockingly, I agree with Paul again. Shockingly.
Yeah, one thing for sure, you cannot beat European nights. Yeah, well, yeah, you can't beat European nights at St James's Park. I think we'll all agree on that. Jay, a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time. And Paul, it's time we lost you too. So we'll see you again a bit later on in Scoring the Players, won't we?
Scoring the Players, yet.
Right, there goes Paul. So it's now just me. So I'm going to bring on the Peter Andre of NFTV, Mr. Owen Shepherd, and I'm going to bring on a very special guest who looks in a bad mood. So I'm not sure. He's not dressed up as anything today. So let's bring on Fordy. Proudlock, you will be next, followed by Elliot and Lawrence. Good afternoon, gents. How are we? I'll come to you first, Owen, as you flick back them luscious locks. What did you make of that performance?
You know what? It wasn't too bad. And at the start of the game, I was thinking to myself, I'll take a draw out of this because Newcastle have played brilliantly since the restart. You have to give credit to Bruce. Like, the results we've got, we've not been beaten since the restart. So at the start of today, I would have taken a draw. Fair enough, it's a West Ham side that are flirting with relegation, but they've got some decent players in that squad, and we've been on a good run, and that run has to end sometime. So I was thinking a draw, I'll take it, keeps that undefeated streak going. The performance as a whole, Newcastle just that we seem to be. We seem to we played well. That once we conceded that first goal, we were nipping the ball around, and there was flicks and tricks everywhere, and there was that urgency that we sometimes lack, and that came around when we conceded the first goal. Second half, it went flat a bit, I thought, and there wasn't as much going on. But I think I'm impressed with the performance. I don't know. It's a like borderline. Like, should I be expecting more? Or should I just settle for this?
Well, Fordy, you can tell Owen's a bit younger than us and doesn't remember the glory days because he thinks that performance was okay. Are we being too fickle, or does he have a point?
I think me and you are spot on, Sam. Sorry. I'm disappointed in that performance. That performance, it kind of felt like the Aston Villa game. I had the same feeling, thinking that we got 2 points. And you might think to myself, okay, but we came behind twice. But at the same time, we had no urgency whatsoever. The only time we looked like we was actually going to go on and win the game was after we scored the first goal. And during that kind of 20-minute period to the first half, that's when we should have bombed on and scored the second and third. And we've allowed them to get back into the game. And for me, I think the mentality, we might be there playing on the pitch, but our mentality is on the beach somewhere because we've got to 14 points and we're just like, you know what, don't care. And I don't think even we want European nights because I don't think we're set up for it. We're really not. We could have easily gone on and won the game. We had the opportunities, the chances and all the rest of it. But I just think, A, we're tired and B, we just didn't want it that much. They wanted it more than us.
Yeah, definitely. They're fighting for their lives. Fordy, I'll stick with you. What did you make of his poorest games, which is saying something, to say the least?
So I didn't catch that. Who are you talking about, sorry?
Joe Linton, how poor was he? And by poor, I mean shite.
In terms of the Joe Linton ometer, he wasn't as bad as I've seen him in real life. And that's putting it nicely. I think he's had better games. I think, lo and behold, when we put him actually out on the wide and we swapped, I think Joe Linton and ASM swapped and he went out left. I think he actually played a lot better. But again, that's going by Joe Linton's standards. Still looking a bit sloppy. Still can't trap a bag of cement and all the rest of it. And I was just pleading that we bring on Andy Carroll. In fact, I'm a bit gutted that we didn't bring on Andy Carroll a bit sooner, because it would have just been written in the stars if Andy Carroll goes on to score the winner against his old side. But again, we keep persisting with Joe Linton. We spent all this money now. We have to keep going with it. And it just feels so forced. I think if we brought on Andy Carroll a bit sooner, played him up top with Dwight Gale. In fact, the more shocking thing is that we brought up Dwight Gale, because I thought Dwight Gale actually had a decent game. So, I don't know. It's one of them.
Yeah, Gale got the assist, didn't he, for the second equaliser? I mean, Owen, is this just a classic case of Bruce not managing his squad again and maybe leaving the substitutes a bit too late? I mean, I put on, I was doing the in-play tweets at Newcastle Fans TV, if you don't follow, which you really should be by now. I put that Carroll was brought on and it was just left 10 minutes too late. Do you think that's fair, or were you happy with the way things were?
I think that's a fairer view of the situation, and it's happened all season, really. And you look back to even under Rafa, that it just happens with quite a few managers where they just make the changes way too late because they're seeing, from the 60th minute, like around the 60th minute, they're seeing Newcastle, maybe pushing on, and they decide, okay, it doesn't need changing yet. By the time they have changed it, by the time the ball's actually gone out of play, it's then way too late. And Carroll should have been on way sooner than he actually was. You think of the Villa game a week or so back. He was brought on at, I'd say, the optimum time to bring on Andy Carroll. And, he provided the assist for Gale's goal, didn't he? And I would have wanted to see that today as well, because I think he could have caused that West Ham defence some real problems and possibly even get on the score sheet against his former side. So I think definitely is... it's disappointing that we're not making substitutes quicker. And also, Paul, thank you very much for that comment as well.
Paul's showing the love. I mean,
yeah,
if he's not on screen, he's always watching. Fordy, did you celebrate Shelvey's equaliser, or did you think Gale was offside in the build-up?
Mate, I'm not gonna lie, I missed it. I missed it. I only saw the replay, so I saw the replay, obviously the nice little 1-2, but I missed it. I was too busy tweeting, saying, swearing and cussing everyone else out for conceding another set piece. Shock. But yeah, it's good to see Shelvey on the score sheet. Funny enough, I could hear, whispers of Lee talking about, there's Fordy cussing off Shelvey's performance, and there he goes off and scores the equaliser. So I had you guys bear in mind. Don't worry when he went and scored.
Owen, I'll ask you then, because hopefully you were paying attention to the game. Did you celebrate the equaliser, or did you think it was offside? Which obviously it wasn't. He was a mile on, but it didn't show the I think it was the name of the player escapes me for West Ham that was playing him on. He wasn't on screen when it happened. So did you celebrate, or
I did celebrate?
I did celebrate.
I did celebrate. Yeah. But then I looked, obviously, watching it, it looked pretty obvious from the angle that it was at that it was offside. So I did celebrate still, but then I was thinking, oh shit, it's offside. I'm just waiting for this VAR graphic to come up on the screen, all that, and well, luckily it just wasn't. And you get double celebration when you find out it's actually a goal. So yeah.
Yeah. Fordy, let's briefly touch on Martin Dubravka. We've got 5 minutes until we just pause briefly for the 5 p.m. clap for the NHS for its 72nd birthday. Dubravka, I thought he did all right today. Classic Dubravka performance. He was kept relatively quiet in the first half until after, I think, the drinks break, which really came at a bad time for us. Yarmolenko had a real stinging shot, which he had to be alert for. How do you assess his performance today?
Nothing much to report on with Dubravka. I just like it when we don't have to talk about him, because when we do have to talk about him, it's usually when he does something wrong. Usually with goalkeepers, he kind of just, as long as they have a keep quiet game, that's it. You don't need to talk about him too much. Yeah, I think he commanded his spots well. Wasn't really at fault with any of the goals. It's more of his defence. Yeah, Dubravka, he's always a solid pair of hands, safe pair of hands, should I say. And it kind of baffles me when he gets subbed out. I know he can't play every single game, but when there's crucial games, i.e. the Man City one, which I'm sure we'll get onto, we need to keep our number one in between the sticks.
Yeah. Owen, would you be playing Darlow against Man City again?
No, not after last time. And you know what it is? That Man City game in the FA
Correct
Cup.
answer.
That Man City game in the FA Cup, that second goal that Sterling scores, I was thinking Dubravka would have saved that shot from Sterling. I'm sorry, but he would have saved that shot. It's a bait. I could have saved that shot. Put me in between the sticks, I would have saved that. So, yeah, definitely just keep Dubravka in goal the whole time. Cup games, Premier League games, I don't care. Just keep him in the sticks because he's like a wall.
Can I give
Fordy, I can't not.
Honourable shout out to Emil Kraft, because I wouldn't have thought he would have started 2 games in a row, and keep Manquillo pushed out to the left hand side, which I still don't agree on. I think I was listening to your man on before. He was talking the same sense as me. I don't really agree with having Manquillo as a right back playing as left back. I would have put Danny Rose, but shout out to Emil Kraft, as I said before, to have him playing 2 games in a row. I thought he was just playing as a token gesture against Bournemouth, but to be playing against West Ham as well today, I think he did really well, and obviously went and got his assist as well. So I think fair play to him, credit to him. I think a lot of people wrote him off. I was definitely one of them. I still don't think he's the best fullback we've got at the club, but he did well today. He held his own.
Definitely. I can't not have you on and mention Miggy Almiron, your favourite player. Do you think he had a better game than ASM today?
Yeah. Listen, I can hold my hands up and say when he's had a good game, and he had a really good game today. ASM was off the pace today. I think we rely on him too heavily, if I'm being really honest, because you could tell their tactics from the get-go. They stuck 3 men on ASM, didn't give him a sniff whatsoever, and that's why I had to go off. But Miggy, fair play to him, man. He was in the right place at the right time. The only thing that I want to see more from him is being more selfish. There was a chance where it really, everything opened up to him. He was about 30 yards out, but then he went on and passed it to ASM out on the left-hand side, where I just wanted to kind of blast one. Because if I know if that was Matt Ritchie, full well he's putting his full body through that. He did it once in the second half, and he went slightly wide. But I just want to see that more selfish streak from him. That's it.
Yeah, go on, Owen. You look like you had something to retort.
I was just going to say, Fordy, I thought Miggy was just a road runner. I thought that's what he was. I thought, come on, he doesn't score goals. Hold on. He doesn't score goals. What are you all about, Fordy? What are you all about?
Owen, come on now. Let's be honest now. If we can have a serious conversation now, how many times have we just seen him running around, deer in the head, that sort of thing? Come on now.
He's massively improved. And you know what it is? You know what it is? Ever since he signed in that January, you could see there was a player in there. You could see exactly what was going to come out. You could see what was in there. Bit of finishing improved, get in the right places, and now he's got 4 Premier League goals. 4 Premier League goals. I know it's not exactly blowing any doors down, is he? But he's improved massively. And he's our top scorer in all competitions for the season. You have to give him credit, and he's not just a road runner. He's by far, I think he's probably overall the best player that Newcastle have that plays outfield.
You know what? I'm going to
and I think we'll leave. No, I think that's a nice place to leave it, Fordy. I think that's a nice place to leave it. I think Owen's got you there, mate. Gents, we do actually have to pause now for the NHS key workers clap. So, Fordy, thank you very much for coming on. When we return after this minute, we will have Proudlock followed by Elliot and Lawrence. Thank you very much. the 72nd birthday of the NHS. Thank you for everyone at Newcastle Fans TV. Owen, well done. You stuck it to 40 quite nicely there.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, well, but I've got a point and I have to make it. You know, it's going to come across, and just belief, really, isn't it?
It certainly is. Right, we're into our final 15 minutes now on the live fan reaction show. So, coming up after this, we've got Scoring the Players with Kyle, myself, and Paul. Then Rob is here with a match reaction with the opinion of a West Ham fan. And of course, finally, we finish off match day with Lee on the last word. So now we are going to welcome in Mr. PD Proudlock.
Hello.
Good evening. Owen, thank you for waiting. Well, I'd be a lot better had we won. Simple as that. What did you make of the game today, Proudlock?
It was going to be a tough game. I think West Ham would have been up for this game after the 3-2 win against Chelsea, and they definitely made it quite difficult for us today, particularly defensive-wise. Lascelles, don't know what he was doing with that first goal.
Yeah, very, very disappointing. I mean, West Ham went unchanged into this game, and they didn't look that tired, yet I thought we did. Is that down to Bruce not really changing things in the previous games?
Possibly, but you look at that the lineup that we got for the Bournemouth game, that looked quite changed. Like that, he changed the system. There was a few players in there that I didn't expect to be drawn out. So I think it could be possibly to do with that, but there's not. I don't think there's really an excuse for it. It's probably just poor fitness levels, if I'm honest. Because West Ham, I mean, they've had the harder game. I mean, we beat Bournemouth 4-1, like relegation threatened team, and they beat Chelsea, who are challenging for Champions League football next season. So technically, they should have been the ones more tired. So yeah, I think there's not really an excuse for it. We were far too tired for today's game.
Peter, what has Lazaro got to do to start a game in the Premier League?
It's a good question. I wanted him to start this game today. I think I thought when he came off the bench against Bournemouth, he looked very impressive. But I think Bruce has got to start him at any game that's coming up. I think he's doing very well. But hopefully next one he might get a chance.
Is it going to be a case on Wednesday that we might see the likes of Lazaro start, Matty Longstaff start, players that have kind of been on the fringes, even Yoshimori Muto? Who knows?
Yeah, I think Bruce is going to definitely rotate some players on Wednesday against Manchester City, because it's, again, all the games are coming thick and fast. It's not like one game every week now. It's one game every few days to try and get this current season finished. But yeah, there's going to be definitely some more rotations than on Wednesday. So it wouldn't surprise me if the likes of hopefully Lazaro might come in. I've got the feeling Hayden will miss the game on Wednesday. So I think there'll be a rotation in the centre midfield role.
Yeah, absolutely. Owen, do you think we're becoming over reliant on ASM? Because he looked tired to me today, and I've said on the preview Friday night that he needs to be taken out, otherwise he's going to be injured. At the end of the first half, we saw him go down, and I was livid because I put in our group chat, I knew this would happen. So does ASM kind of need to be wrapped in cotton wool for the next game and brought back for next weekend?
I think I'd still use him off the bench against City. I mean, he's not the type of player you just completely leave out your squad. And to be honest, I cannot stand that, because with the transfer rumours that go around at the moment and him being left out of the squad, God knows what the media will come up with. So definitely a place on the bench for ASM on Wednesday. And I think we definitely are coming a little bit over-reliant on his facility, just the talent that he possesses. He's a very, very good player, and you can see why clubs are queuing up to try and obtain him. but that you need to spread out dependencies a little bit. And yeah, you sort of saw it with before ASM came. You sort of saw it with Almiron a little bit, or before ASM was properly fit. You sort of saw it with Almiron a little bit. We're a little bit dependent on him, expecting him to do quite a bit. I think asking ASM to do quite a bit works because he can take you from A to B, with a couple of step overs and a few flip flaps. But I think you do have to give him a rest at some point. He is only a human being, a very talented one at that. But yes, only human.
Proudlock, last question. Well, two more questions for you as we're getting pushed for time. Are you worried about keeping hold of ASM?
Yes, you do have that worry. There'll be a lot of clubs definitely sniffing around. And particularly, you know what Mike Ashley's like when pound signs are about as well. And that is the massive worry because we'll always sell our best players. We're never build around them. And that's how we're not being successful lately. That is the issue.
Yeah, it is a big concern when our current owner is the owner. Finally, Manchester City away on Wednesday evening. How bad is it going to get?
Oh, it's going to be very difficult, isn't it? You want to be hopeful.
Yes.
I would take a draw down there, but you never know with this current formation. You never know what could happen. We've not lost a game with it, which is what you could say. But I think I'd definitely be pleased with a draw down there. But I wouldn't be shocked if there was definitely.
Yeah. I think we all know what you mean. Proudlock, thank you very much for coming on and for waiting as well. Appreciate it. Do check out PD Proudlock on YouTube. We've just got a little over 5 minutes left now, so let's get straight into Elliot and then we'll finish with Lawrence. So, Elliot, how are you today?
Hi, I'm fine. Hi, I'm fine.
What did you think? What did you think of the game today? We're pushed for time today. How did you think we did?
Hi, I thought we were end to end, and the two goals, and the two goals were very impressive, and it was pushed 2-2, and the West Ham came back into it. Newcastle were quick to respond after the 2-goal defeat.
Yeah, they definitely were. How do you think we're going to get on Wednesday against Man City?
Ooh. I think we're going to lose. Thumbs down for me. We're safe and I don't care. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. See you later.
Very good. And on that bombshell, Elliot, thank you for coming on. Brilliant there from Elliot. And then our final guest tonight is going to be Lawrence. I'm sure you'll all know by now. Good evening, Lawrence.
All right. How are you guys?
What did you make of today's? Well, I'd be better if we'd have won. What did you make of the game today?
Very frustrating. I'd say, yeah, it's definitely 2 points dropped. I mean, it feels good that we'll keep the unbeaten run, but a bit annoying. But then again, West Ham kind of fighting for their lives. They just beat Chelsea in midweek, so it's not the end of the world, but it's not very. It's less ideal when you've got to go to the Etihad in a few days.
After that performance and the one, as you referenced there, against Chelsea earlier in the week, there's no chance that West Ham are going down now, surely?
Nah, I said all along, Bournemouth, Villa, Norwich to go down, and especially more after this week.
Owen, do you agree with that, or do you think Watford could get sucked into it?
I think Watford could definitely get sucked into it. but I think it's definitely between the three that Lawrence mentioned before and Watford. And West Ham are sailing away from it now. 4 points clear, I think they are. So yeah, I mean, it's a positive for West Ham. It's just a shame for the rest of the other clubs that are down there. Just lucky it's not Newcastle, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, breaking news on the bottom of the screen there now, as Lee's in the comments. ASM's ruled out of the Manchester City game. I said it on the preview Friday night. Maybe this was the game to take him out of, and look what's happened. He started. He's picked up a knock. It was a matter of time. But Lawrence, does that give Lazaro his chance now?
Less of a chance, but I don't think Bruce could have won with that one. If he takes him off when we're drawing, he's gonna get a lot of flack from the fans. I think if Lazaro's in the start against Man City, you've got to push him by the start. Sorry?
Is that because we're too over-reliant on Saint-Maximin now?
Probably, yeah. I think against Man City, I'd expect Lazaro or Richie to come in, or maybe both of them will start. I mean, you might rest Julian for that game. I'd still start. I don't think I'd start Julian. Actually, I'd up front. I'd probably keep Dwight Gill in there.
Are we in danger of becoming a one-man team, like say Crystal Palace are with Zaha or Villa are with Grealish? As I see, it's just coming towards the end of the first half. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. Are we a one-man team?
I think close to becoming one, because we can still function without ASM. I mean, not very well, because we've picked up more points with him in the team than without. But we're still a fully functioning team without him there. Whereas you look at the likes of maybe Grealish or Zaha, Crystal Palace especially struggle to function without Zaha on that left flank or in the striking position for them. So I think we're very much in danger of becoming a one-man team. We're very close, but we're not quite there yet.
Lawrence, quick one for you before we go, as we've got about a minute left. Wednesday night, obviously, we now know that we've not got ASM. How bad is it going to be?
Well, I've just read that Hayden's going to be out the game as well. I think Sean Longstaff won't be playing because of the hamstring injuries. Oh, man. Oh, God help us, man.
But does that give us the chance to see the likes of Matty Longstaff and
I think
Bentaleb's been doing okay now? And
I think it'll be Shelby.
Looks sharp.
I think Shelby and Bentaleb in the midfield for this game. We'll probably see Matty at some point. I think, as for the wingers, I think 2 out of 3 between Lazaro, Richie, and Joe Linton. I think Lazaro, we kind of brought him in my opinion, to be more the backup to saint-maximin instead of Christian Atsu. And I think we need to see more of Lazaro. I mean, I've looked at the lineup. I think dropped to the bench after scoring Wednesday. It's similar for the Southampton game after he scored at West Brom. I thought, what's he got to do get a start in the winger position other than injury? And, you know, he might get a start now.
He certainly would. Well, Lawrence, thank you very much for waiting and coming on, and we will see you next time. Owen, that's your lot. Have you had fun at least after a very disappointing draw?
Yeah, I've had fun. You know, it's great to be back on as well after such a long time out for varied reasons. But yeah, it's great to be back, and hopefully be back on a lot more now as well, because I realise I haven't been on that as much as I would have liked to have been. So yes, very much enjoyed myself.
Plenty of opportunity before the end of the season. Right, coming up later on this evening, in about 15 minutes' time, Kyle is going to be presenting Scoring the Players with myself and Paul guesting. Following that, Rob will have more match reaction for you with a West Ham fan. And then to wrap it all off, we've got Lee with the last word, as always. So my thanks to Paul, Owen, and everyone that's interacted with us and appeared tonight. And thank you all for watching. And stay tuned to Newcastle Fans TV.